Here I have drawn out the outline of my wave using a free reference photo from Luiza Picciano. For this demonstration, I'm going to use a watercolor underpainting. I have never done a watercolor underpainting in any of my YouTube video demonstrations. Typically, I use a pastel underpainting with an alcohol wash to blend the pastels. But this time I thought I would try using watercolor just to see how well it works as a base layer. I want to use some vivid colors in my base layer. That's why I chose watercolor. I want some of these bright colors to show through when I begin to apply the pastels over the base color. I am using a 500 grade Uart sanded paper for this demonstration. The paper accepts a water wash or alcohol wash very nicely. I will fill in the entire paper with the watercolor and let it dry before I begin applying any pastels to the paper surface. Now I'll let the watercolor dry while I select some pastel colors. I've selected a few colors to start with. I will use a dark green pastel for the lower portion of the trough of the wave. The colors are usually darker in this area. And I'll use a lighter shaded green for the overturning wave, and I will also use some other shades of greens and turquoises to add some color to our wave. The benefit of the watercolor underpainting is that it doesn't fill in the tooth of the paper, so the paper maintains enough abrasion to add many layers of pastels. This method allows some of the translucent colors to show through with less smudging of the pastel colors applied. So here I'll start blending some of the pastel colors using a tool with a sponge tip applicator. These tools are usually sold with pan pastels, but work great for blending pastels over the rough surface of the Uart paper. I'm going to add some white pastel to the surface area of the wave before I begin blending some of these shades together. I have created the shape of the wave pretty well, so now I'd like to add some color to the background water. The furthest distance of the wave in the back will be a little bit darker than the foreground. I'm going to use some dark blue to create some wave texture in the wave area below the cresting wave. I'll add some marks of green and blue also, and then I can blend the area together to create some water texture. I'll move to the foreground area to add some wave texture and soften the wave that is overturning in the foreground. I'll also add some white trails of foam coming off the foamy wave and blend it slightly to give it a smooth texture. The overturning wave is creating a shadow on the surface of the water, so I'm using some dark blue to begin adding some darker shade to the bottom portion of the wave. Now that the painting has a good foundation, I can begin adding the final details and texture to the water, and I will work the entire painting from different areas and not just focusing on one part. So please follow along as I develop each area of the painting. I'm going to begin developing some distant waves in the background of the water. I'll begin by adding some of the white caps on the top sections of each wave. I'll blend the area beneath the crest with a darker shade of blue. I'm going to add a few more distant waves in the background. I'll blend these waves a little more softly in the background. I'm going to add some spray to the wave by scraping off some of the powder off the white pastel stick. I'm using my X-Acto knife to scrape off some of the powder. Then I'll use my glassine paper and rub the powder into the grain of the paper. I hope you have enjoyed this time lapse of painting a breaking wave, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out all my playlists here on YouTube. Thank you for joining, and see you next time.